Yo, 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 and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
Podcast.
I'm Taylar.
I'm Morgan. Happy Thursday. Happy episode 256.
Lord of mercy. Happy Thursday.
We have to tell them about our hair.
We do. We got you saw it on our Instagram, unless you're fake and don't follow us, aka
Which
you're
half
grounded.
of you do.
Okay, we got a DM from one of our besties, one of our listeners, Carly, and she was like, hey, I live in Knoxville and I work at a head spa and I do hair and I do scrubbing of the scalp like you've never seen before. Do you guys want to come by? And we were like, where
fucking
the fuck
right now.
do we sign? Where have you been, bestie? Because holy shit. Yes, oh my God. So we immediately like hop on it. We had to, of course.
You know what I'm realizing?
What?
Why it doesn't look lined up? Our chairs aren't. Look how yours touches the corner there and mine's all the way over here.
Oh, we'll fix that after.
Do you think that's a problem with the camera?
That's 100% the problem with the camera.
Okay, sorry.
We'll fix that here in a little bit.
Difference. We're really close. Look.
Yeah, we're kind of like we were
almost touching
during like season 2, season 3, season 1. Season 1 we were kissing.
Yeah, we were literally making out
Season
on
2
a bed.
we were also kind of kissing.
Yeah.
Season 3 we were close enough to kiss.
Gray chairs were basically kissing.
But the desk was making out.
Yeah, that
was having sex.
The bed?
The bed?
We were playing footsie.
Yes, the
that
entire
was crazy.
Time. Okay, anyways, Carly. So Carly's like, hey, come down to Effortless Beauty Salon, which they have like a head spa, they have like hair, they have makeup, whatever you want, like events and stuff. So we go down there. Her and Melissa hook us up.
Guys,
oh my God.
my Oura Ring was like, hey, do you want to log that 45-minute nap?
Literally.
I was like, I didn't even fall asleep. That's how relaxed I was. It was incredible. The red light therapy.
Steam in your face. It was really dark in the room, but we were like, okay, we want to get some content. So can you open up the windows just a little bit?
Yeah, we had blackout masks on.
Yeah, they put these blackout masks on us. They also like use every brush that you could ever imagine. But the worst part of all was having to look at our scalps before.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
It was so cool, but like seeing how disgustingly dirty my head was, I was like, I'll be back here once a month.
No, really though. And I also found out, I always thought thick hair was like width.
Yeah.
Why do I have like 19 hairs coming out of one follicle? Taylar will have like a cluster of like sometimes single, sometimes a cluster like 3.
Yeah, but yours is like thinner, where mine's like thick in one.
But I have like,
but you have like 100 of them.
It's the craziest thing ever.
It's so weird.
Because when I feel like I pull out one hair.
And because Morgan's hair is way thicker than mine, obviously. Like even, well, I don't know what about like the strands. Obviously, we don't know how to measure that. Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I thought that was thickness, was strands. No, it's like,
it's not.
I guess it's density.
It's just how much hair, like the density of your hair.
That's a pretty regular hair. It's crazy.
Because like mine just looks like the same width as yours, like density as yours.
What do your girls say? Every day is a school day.
Every day. Every day is a school day.
Like I picked up on that.
I know.
I've been saying it a lot, actually.
Every day is a school day.
Every day is a school day.
Every day. She listened to Girls Bathroom, got so traumatized by this one story. I'm afraid you think that like they only tell traumatizing stories.
I loved it. I even made Aaron listen to it.
Yeah, we did it on our Piping Hot Goss for Patreon. We did like a mukbang and we played this like crazy horror, real life AI story that happened to someone.
Crazy.
Oh my God. But it's on the Girls Bathroom. So good. It was like August 8th or something that it came out, because we literally like recorded that night. Anyways, Carly and Melissa hooked us up, scrubbed our scalps so amazingly good that I think it should be covered by insurance, to be quite honest.
Why isn't it?
Why is that not covered by insurance?
Because it was so amazing.
Oh, I got to see how many veiny spots I have on my head.
Yeah, I didn't even know we pulsed like that back there, you know? It's just crazy.
No wonder why my head gets really hot, you know, when I get like embarrassed or mad or something. That makes
I didn't even think of that.
Listen, Carly, I'm trying to get close enough with you that you'll use that little machine like on my back, in my ears,
down in my pubic area.
Like I want to look everywhere. I want to get.
When I got that ingrown, I'm coming.
No,
I needed close up.
I'm coming. But anyways, they actually were so even nice enough to give us a code, which is 20% off for your like head spa little moment on your service, your first service, if you use code CAC besties. And like obviously that's gonna work best for locals, but if you got like a little drive in you and you want to come and like try the good food around Knoxville and go get your head scrubbed by Carly, like 10 out of 10 recommend.
Guys, it's so
I would
worth
drive
it.
an hour and a half.
If you're local to Knoxville or in the surrounding area, you need to make the damn trek.
You need to just go.
It was so good.
My hair still feels like my hair's laying better and it feels better. But damn, I swear, like my hair has not been this clean since like the first time it grew.
Yeah, I need like 10 more.
Yeah.
Right now.
No, I just want to lay there.
I don't even think
on the
when
heated
did we
bed.
do that? What day? Wednesday? I don't think I washed my hair
Wednesday.
until Sunday.
Well, I ended up getting my hair cut in between, or else I wouldn't have. But I got my hair cut in between. They put a lot of product in it. And then I felt like so dirty because there was so much product in my hair. I went from having no product in my hair to having so much product in my hair.
Yeah.
But I got my hair cut, everybody. I didn't do the bob, even though Patreon did try to bully me into it.
I do like the bangs. I feel like those got freshened up.
Yeah, they did. I got them a little bit shorter so that way they would grow in a little bit nicer. But having a cowlick right in the front of your face really, really, really be testing a bitch, because I know here in like 3 weeks this is going to lay so beautifully.
Right.
But right now I'm struggling every day.
Why is that with haircuts?
I don't know. I guess because like it just takes a minute for your hair to like, or maybe it's you getting used to it. I don't know.
Or is it all in our head?
I don't know.
It could all be in our head. All I know is I need to book with Carly for everything, actually. Hair, color, cut, style, and scrub.
Add that to the list. She did such a good blowout.
Yeah,
and she had this supersonic
and
fire
then my TikTok
hair.
shows me, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to ask for that for Christmas. Fuck me, I don't need it.
I can't.
I don't even blow dry my hair. What do I need it for?
No, literally. But if I had that, I would blow dry my hair.
That's what I said about my shark.
Yeah. Well, I don't even have a good, nice
and
one.
I still don't.
You know, I do. The only time I blow out my hair was when my hair was short, because I had no choice but to blow it out. Like, you have to when you have short hair. And I think if I would blow this length of hair, because I did cough like a good solid like 3 inches from my hair, maybe even more than that. I don't know. It's a lot. And it was so long. It was so long. And then, of course, literally the day I cut it, everyone's commenting, oh my God, your hair is so long. It looks so good. Need the routine.
Oh, well, she cut. So
in my defense, it was dead. It really had to go. Like, it wouldn't even curl on the ends. Yeah. It was that bad. And I also felt bad because in the end of the Headless Horseman, effortless
once upon a time
effortless beauty head spa video that we made on our TikTok, like, you could see where Carly's blowing out my hair and it looks a little splitty at the end. That was not her. That was all me. And I was like, so I like actually used way less, like tried to zoom in so you couldn't see just how horrible my ends looked, because I was like, this is nothing to do with Carly. That's all on me. That's all on me. I'm cutting them tomorrow.
Oh, that's funny.
But it does feel nice when you cut your hair, because you feel like you lose like 50 pounds from your head.
And it just feels so fresh at the bottom.
It does. It does. It really does.
It's hard to get that.
I got the same Oura Ring notification that you did, that something's wrong. You can probably tell in my voice, guys, I do have my allergies. They're back in full swing. And
mine disappeared.
Allergies.
Mine's disappeared.
Yours went away? No,
yes. It was only for that day. I wish it would log it though, because like it doesn't.
Well, yes.
I was just gonna tell you that when I was driving here, it was 98, and it's literally, I thought it was just my car reading that. No, it's literally high 93 today.
Yeah, it's really fucking hot outside today.
I got a little thing for Ollie.
Oh, my alert's gone.
Oh, your alert's gone. Yeah, no, and it might pop back up later. It's weird. So I got one of those vacuum grooming things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? So like there's like a de-shedding brush and like all other different attachments. There's one for your couch you can do, and then it has a tube, and it's like supposed to be a quieter vacuum, but it just sucks the hair in while you do it. Well, there's also a shaving blade.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like a clipper.
Like
a grooming clipper.
Yes.
Well, I was like, okay, I'm gonna clean him up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And because it like there's no mess, it just goes right down the tube, you know. And so I did it on Sunday, and yesterday after work, I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, that was so fun.
I want to do it again.
So I was like, I want to do it again. Now I didn't touch anything on this top.
Yeah.
Anywhere else. I just cleaned up like his little feathers behind his leg and his butt. Really his butt. For the most part, and like right at the top of his ears and under his ears a little bit. Well, I went, and now don't be like, don't shave your golden retriever. I don't. I have one of those extender clippers on it, so it's still like 3 inches up. Like I'm just trimming.
Yes,
it's a trim.
He goes to the groomer and gets it.
Yeah, exactly. So I do one line. I got really crazy. So I start like just going crazy on his butt. I start like edging like underneath his little feathers that hang below his belly. I'm like just I'm in the front of his paws and his paw pads, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna do the top. It's a little long. I do one strip like a fucking skunk.
No, you didn't.
I was like, oh
Down the
no,
middle?
discolored, because he's so darker on the outside
Yes.
that it's lighter.
Shut
And
up.
so I was like, okay, I'll just do all of the top. So then I did
No,
all
Morgan.
of the top, but he wouldn't let me do the sides, and I didn't know what
So he has a
direction
faux
to
hawk,
go.
a
So he
reverse?
literally is like very light, and then like red, and then light again.
Not a skunk. No.
Just a little red.
He's gonna. You're gonna have to
foxy
do it
skunk.
tonight. You're gonna. Have
I
to
know.
Do
Well, maybe tomorrow, because I was really enjoying it. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I'm just gonna open up a business right here in the office.
We're gonna do it today.
It was funny though.
That is really fun. I do want one of those to get Mila's butt curtains.
Yeah, well, you could just borrow mine. Don't pay $7 for that.
Well, I just don't know that she will like be okay around it, because cats will have like a fucking heart attack over that shit.
Well, I mean, he broke my actual vacuum the day morning of.
How?
You know, how he attacks
Yeah.
the bottom of it. Well, there's like a little tubing that connects like the actual like floor part of the vacuum into the tank.
Yeah.
The whole that connects both parts of the vacuum. Well, he did his little and he snagged onto that and pulled it, and so it popped off. So then I'm sitting there on the ground. I'm over fucking stimulated. Aaron comes in with the leaf blower because he was just out back. He's coming up to
Yeah.
the front and he wants to swap the batteries, which is charging by the fireplace.
Oh my god, the fucking leaf blower batteries. Literally, I hate them.
Why do they suck?
Can we just get one with gas at this point? Because if I have to, can you get the charger? No, I'll never get the charger again.
Yeah.
I burned the charger, actually. The charger is done.
Well, I'm sitting on the ground just like so frustrated because I told him, I said, I'm going to connect to the speaker. I want 1 hour of cleaning time.
Yeah.
I just groomed Ollie. Like, this was before I did my mohawk. And I was like, and then I'm going to vacuum and clean up all this hair because it was just so much. Like, I can't even keep control of it. He's shedding so bad. And so I'm sitting there frustrated as all hell I'm pissed off. I'm so pissed off because also I wanted help in the house. Why are you leaf
Outside.
blowing?
Why are you outside?
Like, that's not contributing to me.
can't.
It does not contribute to my clutter in the house.
fact, just leave then. Go somewhere else.
He comes walking by with the leaf blower, right on my neck.
No.
Hair goes everywhere. Everything that I just like vacuumed up also is now up in the air.
No.
I start sobbing. I'm like, just go outside. Like, I was losing my mind. He's like, what's wrong? I was like, the vacuum's fucking broken. I'm overstimulated. You're blowing fucking cold ass dirty
Lay
air
there.
on my neck.
Dirty
I
air.
hate things on my neck.
Outside
I
air.
hate my neck being like blown
That's
on,
horrible.
anything like that. I was so mad. He's like, okay, I'm sure I can fix it. He does. He pops it in just like immediately. But I also had it fixed like right before then.
Yeah, of course.
And so he's like, it's fixed. I was like, yeah, we'll try to use it for 10 seconds. It'll just pop back off.
It didn't.
It didn't. But it was
You just kind of wish that.
oh my
moment that
God.
it
My
would blow
Sunday,
off.
I really did blow up so many times. Poor Aaron. Poor Ollie. He really got the brunt of it with the blades, you know? Like,
He does look like a skunk.
yeah.
Yeah, like poor buddy.
Yeah, let me show you. Did I send you the picture from the first day?
No, you didn't. Oh, guys, by the way, Rush is over. Thank God. And Phoebe went KD, so she's a Kappa Delta.
I can't believe it.
I know,
I'm so happy for her.
That was like her top
Look
pick.
at me. I even wore it for her today.
She did. She wore green. She was her top pick.
He's a little chopped.
Oh, wow. You gave him a tie-dye chop.
Well, this wasn't even the bad one. I was like, damn, I did really good. I could do more.
Okay. I'm going to come get that from you and never let you have it back. Morgan, why'd you make him look like he has mange?
Because it was too long. It was too fucking long up here. And he was getting hot spots down
Poor
there.
Ollie, look at his face. He said, Mom, why you do that to me?
He's handsome.
I had full confidence in you that this
Well,
was
you
gonna look
shouldn't
really
have.
good.
Okay? I mean, wait till I show you the back of his legs, though. I did real nice on that. I'll send you a picture. Now,
Yeah,
look at
so-
that. I mean,
Yeah.
that needed to be.
Well, it's going to grow back in like literally
2 days.
2 seconds. So
I'm not impressed about
I'm not really worried about it. But
Neither. But Phoebe,
sure it feels
yes,
good.
Kappa Delta,
yeah, she's a Kappa Delta. Thank God
what
that
you
shit's
wanted.
over because I
rushed out.
cannot. It was so hot on bed day. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, it was hot.
Anyways, guys, we will get to the stories today because I told Morgan mine was short.
It's not.
Yep.
Alrighty, if you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get creepy.
Tim Morgan, what do you have for us today?
So today I'm going to be telling you a story from back in 1518.
What were people even doing back then?
I'm about to tell you what they were
tell
doing.
me.
So it is July of 1518 in Strasbourg, which was a pretty busy city at the time along the Rhine River, which is now modern day France.
Oh.
It is peak summertime. It's hot, it's humid, it's sticky.
Ugh.
The food is scarce. It's really hard to come by. You're probably breaking bread just to get the family by. And sickness is filling through the air. Scurvy, leprosy, syphilis, dysentery, and tuberculosis, you name it. That's really what 1518 was like.
They were just dying.
But on the morning of July 14th, something even stranger than famine or the plague catches the attention of the townspeople when a woman named Fra Trofea steps into the street and begins to dance. There is no music, there's no festival, there's no celebration. She simply starts moving, her feet are pounding against the cobblestone, and her arms are flailing in the air. At first, the townspeople are kind of laughing. Maybe they think that she's joking, or maybe she's celebrating something in her own strange way. But the hours pass and she does not stop. Even when her body is at peak exhaustion, she kept dancing. When her legs finally give out, she would collapse, only to rise up again and continue to dance. She then danced until nighttime. And when the sun came up the next day, she was still dancing. According to Britannica, she kept this up for nearly a week before others began to join her. And this is the dancing plague of 1518.
I am so excited for this. I love this story.
Yeah. By then, it was pretty clear that this was like no act. There was no prank going on and no bursts of like strange enthusiasm for a bunch of people to be dancing. And that something much stranger was probably happening. Within just a few days, it wasn't just Fra, I don't know how to say her name, Frey, out there anymore. There was more than 30 people that had joined her, all flailing their arms and stomping like they're at the world's longest and largest block party. But this wasn't fun. They weren't stopping for food or water or even to sleep. Their shoes were wearing out. Their feet were splitting open and bleeding, which I'm surprised they even had shoes. But then again, I think they were just like the wooden block things.
Yeah, like what shoes were they wearing?
Or like almost like ballerina slips,
Right,
you know?
like socks.
Literally. Some were collapsing in the street. They were drenched in sweat. They were pale as ghosts. And just when you think that they were done, they would drag themselves back up and start right back at it again. Like their bodies were refusing to quit, even when their minds and brains were begging them to. Like you're at peak exhaustion. Go take a time out, get a water break.
Take a breather. Tap someone in, tap someone out.
Right. As the weeks passed, the numbers grew by the masses. According to the public domain review, hundreds of men and women, young and old, were starting to get pulled into this strange mania going on. The city square begins overflowing with bodies that were jerking and spinning and twitching, almost as if they were possessed. Ooh. Some accounts claim that at the peak of the outbreak, as many as 15 people were dying every day.
15 people a day.
Yeah. Heart attacks, strokes, pure exhaustion. And remember, this is summertime.
Oh,
it's hot as
it's
fuck.
hot and humid and sticky.
Like, did they at least have water out there?
I mean, I'm sure people are just like dousing them, right? Like at some point we're like all getting worried as a community.
I hope so. The records are obviously a bit murky because it is 1518, but there is no doubt that people were dying from this bizarre and unstoppable dancing compulsion that they were experiencing. This wasn't some quick, weird weekend event either. The dancing didn't stop after just a few days. It dragged on and on like it was holding the entire city hostage for more than a month. From the middle of July all the way until September, Strasbourg was basically one giant, I would borderline say, unwilling dance floor.
That's so creepy.
July, August, September. Yeah.
3 months.
Almost 3 months. The city leaders called in physicians to examine the dancers, but medical knowledge in 1518 was literally just nothing. Like they were like, you know, put some mud on it.
They're like, she's a witch.
Yeah.
So.
Doctors believed in this theory of the four humors, and this theory is that health was a balance of bodily fluids like blood, bile, saliva, etc. When they saw the dancers, these physicians believed their conclusion was that the victims had overheated blood, and their cure was almost comical. Hindsight's 2020. They believed that the only way to purge the heat from the blood was to get their patients at this point, because they're fucking doctors, to keep dancing. So the city doubles down on this situation, on this madness. They cleared out these building halls. They built stages. They even brought in musicians and professional dancers to help encourage those that were affected by this overheated blood to keep moving. Strasbourg literally became the site of an involuntary festival. It was like Fire Festival, but 1518. Literally.
They literally capitalized on this. What in the fuck?
What in the fuck? Like that is what medicine was like then. You know, they're like,
might as well get a stage.
The bodies are healing themselves, and the only way to heal the overheated blood is to follow what the patients are already doing, which is dancing. So they need to keep dancing. Let's build a stage. Bring in the musicians.
Despite the fact that 15 people are dying
a day.
Hello?
But imagine it. These people are exhausted, sick, and terrified, and they're being dragged into these squares while musicians are playing very loudly around them. And the city, the entire time, is believing that this is going to cure them. But instead, it made things worse. So to understand how something like this could happen, we need to picture what life in Strasbourg at the time was really like. This was not a peaceful summer. This city was suffering from poor harvests and food shortages. The families were hungry. The threat of plague and disease loomed around them. And many people were already living with fear and desperation. And religion shaped nearly every part of daily life. Many citizens believed that sickness and misfortune were punishments from God or curses from the saints. And there is one saint in particular that is associated with strange seizures and dancing fits, and his name is Saint Vitus. Saint Vitus was basically like this teenage rebel way back in like the early 300s, I guess. Like way, like is that even a time? AD?
It 100% is.
I don't know.
On both sides, BC and AD.
Yeah, and I don't have a direct one for you. He was from Sicily. He grew up in a really rich family, but decided to become Christian because Sicily, Italy, it's majority Catholic. We have the Vatican there. Well, what's the Vatican there then? I don't know. When did was the Vatican around? Was Catholicism... Okay, this is going to send me down a spiral. Catholicism around like Christianity time?
Yeah.
Like Bible time?
Yeah. They split off later because they were the same thing and then they split. Okay. Because early...
Like, there's no Bible stories talking about, like...
No, they don't talk about it in the Bible. But, like, so... I've talked about this one time, but, like, early Christian monks. Like, super early. This is, like, when it was primarily Catholicism, really. Like, if you looked at what they did, that's why they started doing the sacraments. Like, communion and shit was to get people to be a part of it, because remember that Greek goddess little thing that they would do, and once a month everyone would go get to drink this.
Yes, we talked about that.
Yes, we talked about it. I don't know if it was on a Patreon or whatever, but like that was on like the show I was watching about early Christian monks, and it was like they did this thing where they were like, oh, we could get more people to follow us if we had something cool and exclusive, like this Greek goddess or whatever, either Egyptian or Greek goddess that everyone wants to worship, has this thing once a month where you go and you eat something and you get to drink this shit, and then you like go on this trip, a wild ass trip, and that's how you get to talk to them. So then Christian monks were like, you can talk to God at any time. So what you can do is you can drink some of this wine and some of this bread. That's his body and his flesh, and his flesh and his blood, and there you go. And then everybody was like, oh, hell yeah, let's do that. And then later on, the reason of the split between like Protestants and Catholicism was like because of the ritualistic things.
Okay.
Like just differences, and then obviously split again.
So like when do you think the Vatican came about?
Let's look it up. Why don't they like teach us in church? How about that?
I don't know.
When did the Vatican form? But
early Catholicism was based in Italy.
Vatican City is 1929, but that's not what
that's
I'm
probably
asking.
when it was like made a...
Yeah.
When's the first pope? Who was the first pope?
Long ago. When was the first pope? The first pope was around 30 AD.
30
AD.
Okay, so maybe the Vatican era was...
St. Peter was the first pope.
Oh, yeah, St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah. Duh. No way we just put that together. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me just go back to St. Vitus.
This is interesting, though. Hold on one second. While the title Pope wasn't officially used in early centuries...
They were a monk?
Yes, kind of. I guess maybe you were just like saint, the first bishop of Rome. His papacy, traditionally believed to have begun around 30 AD or AD 30.
That's crazy.
While the title Pope hasn't been around or wasn't often used in early centuries, Catholic traditions and some historians consider Peter to be the first in the line of successions of the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, because then we have a bunch of different Catholic Church. We have the Roman Catholic Church, the Italian Catholic Church, which is technically different, and then you have the Irish.
Wait, why would
Catholic.
what's the Italian Catholic?
It's like,
is it Rome, Italy?
No. I mean, technically, yeah, but like Romans, like Mesopotamia, all the way, like all around Romans.
Yeah, but I thought like the Roman Empire was like, I don't know, like I thought it stretched like beyond Italy.
It stretched beyond. It was like in Greek.
So
in
Italy,
Egypt.
Italian Catholicism then would be a newer concept.
Yeah,
compared to the others.
Yeah, because it's still different like cultural practices involved. That's why you have Irish.
That's crazy.
And like, maybe I'm wrong, but that's my full understanding, and I have gone on deep dives on these at night, and that is what I've gathered.
Found out this is so crazy. So I'm like, wait, I don't know if this is sacred or not. I don't think so. I think it's like a common thing. So that when you go through confirmation, you get a like, not a communion name, but like a saint name.
Yeah.
So I ask Aaron, I'm like, hey,
is?
what is your confirmation name in the Catholic Church? He's like, I think Michael. I'm like, no, that's your middle name. Like,
right.
What is your like, because then you add it to your name. Like, it would be like Morgan, Rianne, Saint Mary, or Mary Harris.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I think it's Michael. Ask my mom. So I text his mom in a group with him. I'm like, what's Aaron's confirmation name? And she was like, I think it's from Saint Michael. It's Michael.
So
and I was like,
is his Saint Michael?
I was like, so you're telling me you picked Michael when your middle name was already Michael? So you're Aaron Michael, like Chaz Michaels? And I was like, how original, guys.
No, really.
And then I think I offended some people, but
I wonder if is his Saint Michael too? Because you have like a saint directly. I wonder what Logan's is, because he went through confirmation.
Like, I'm just like, why would you pick the one that unless it gets chosen for you? But I don't think it does. I think you decide.
Yeah.
And why would you double up your
middle
name?
Like, aren't you like, you pray about it and you get called to it? I don't know either. I've asked Nikki about this before multiple times because she's still Catholic.
Yeah.
Practicing, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck you guys up to her?
I know.
Seriously.
So Catholic faith just
it like blows my mind.
Okay, so Saint Vitus, he's a teenager rebel back in the early 300s, which is what we find out after the first pope. He was from Sicily, but he grew up in a really rich family, and he decided to become Christian. Obviously, his parents did not approve, as they were like very large Catholics. His family tried to stop him from becoming a Christian, but the Roman Emperor Diocletian, I don't know.
Oh yeah, Diocletian. Why do I know that?
Diocletian.
No, that's a medicine.
Diocletian. Diocletian. I don't know. The Roman Emperor gets involved, and when Rome got involved back then, it was never really good news. So Vitus was arrested, tortured, and eventually killed for his faith, trying to become a Christian, which made him a martyr. And in Catholic tradition, this is basically like sainthood with VIP status if you're a martyr. So fast forward a few centuries, and Vitus gets grouped in with a squad of saints called the 14 Holy Helpers. Each one of these Holy Helpers is supposed to specialize in protecting people from certain problems. And Vitus, for whatever reasons that were never entirely clear, that at least I came across of, became associated with seizures, nervous disorders, and like frenzied movement.
Okay.
So people believe that he had the power both to heal these conditions and also to inflict them as punishment. So when Strasbourg's streets filled with this nonstop dancing, the locals weren't like, oh no, mysterious illness. They were like, oh no, Saint Vitus did it. Like, he's mad at us. Like, he's mad at the city. Because these saints could like heal you from a nervous disorder, or they could cast it on you. It's,
I hate that for him.
I hate that
he gets blamed for this.
And so the entire city now is like, no, this is not, the physicians, this is not working. The large dance parties and the big halls and the musicians and
we
the
need exorcisms.
Professional dancers. Yes, we need exorcisms. So that's when city officials begin to take a different route. To fix this, priests marched the exhausted dancers out of town to a shrine that they had built dedicated to Saint Vitus. They prayed over them. They strapped them with these holy amulets on their bodies. They begged him to knock it off. They were basically giving exorcisms to the entire town. And to the people of Strasbourg, these weren't poor souls with sickness. No, they were cursed souls trapped in this never-ending dance battle with a saint who didn't know how to quit. Allegedly, and very slowly, after this little march to the shrine, the epidemic actually began to die out. Now, it took some time, but in their eyes, they're like, it worked. St. Vitus was the cause.
Okay, well.
And so that's kind of what they ran with, was that St. Vitus was the cause. But what are today's modern theories as to what the fuck actually happened or what was going on in Strasbourg back in 1518? One popular idea is ergot poisoning, and this is basically when moldy rye bread gets you high in like a really nasty way. Oh, shit. So the fungus can make people hallucinate, shake, and like spasm, kind of like this like medieval psychedelic nightmare or psychedelic high. Sounds tempting as an explanation for the dancing plague, and yes, people have seriously considered it, but the kicker is that if the bread was that powerful, people probably wouldn't have been able to dance for days on end, because when this poisoning happens or when it takes place, yes, they hallucinate, they shake, and they convulse, but they're also usually curled up in a corner sick as fuck, not leading a citywide dance marathon.
Like shitting their pants on.
So that theory is kind of tossed out, but it was largely discussed. The theory that most historians like today is something called mass psychogenic illness, which are fancy words for basically mass hysteria. Stress, fear, and sheer panic can make your body do crazy things, and it can spread like a virus without germs. One person freaks out and suddenly everyone else's body is like, oh yeah, I guess we're dancing too. Your mind starts convincing your muscles to join the party whether you want them to or not, and basically Strasbourg was the perfect storm for this. People were starving, they were terrified of disease, and they were super religious and also worrying about curses or any sort of divine punishment. So when one woman starts dancing and everyone else believes that she's been cursed by St. Vitus, it was basically the start of a chain reaction. Suddenly the whole city was grooving whether they liked it or not. And Strasbourg wasn't the only place that this had happened. Between the 1300s and the 1600s, Europe saw a bunch of similar outbreaks, usually called dancing manias. There were reports in Aachen, Germany in 1374, where dozens of people danced in the streets for weeks. In 1237, there was a town called, Erfurt, also in Germany, also had a smaller but still wild outbreak of dancing. And even in the 1600s, places like Italy and the Netherlands recorded groups of people breaking into uncontrollable dancing fits. Strasbourg just happened to be the most famous, probably because so many people were involved and the city kept detailed records. Well, as detailed as they can be for 1518. The dancing plague of 1518 didn't just fade away. It became one of the most famous examples of collective hysteria in recorded history. Artists have painted it, historians continue to write about it, and musicians and playwriters have drawn inspo from it. Florence and the Machine even named a song after choreomania, which is the technical term for dancing madness.
Damn.
Imagine if this happened today. Imagine Knoxville. One person gets up. They're on Gay Street. They're flailing. They're stomping. They're flailing. Like, I'm picturing like
they're
this.
going viral on TikTok.
And then the next person joins in.
And we're like,
and then next thing we know, it's been 60 days.
And then it's The Last of Us.
And all of us are there.
Yeah.
And we're like this. Renegade, renegade.
Dude. I'm a savage. No, seriously.
Like, literally, like, if it were to happen today, I think that, like, the national... Okay.
The national government, if it were to happen literally today,
happened today,
like actually
I think
that,
today, troops would be deployed. We'd all be shot in the head and executed.
100%. They're like, this is an act of protest, and you're dead, and you're done.
And you guys are blocking the street, blocking this.
But
and
what's
you're all
really
dead.
weird is it happened all in the same region,
Yeah.
like all in the same kind of like area.
I mean, it could be like a curse of a saint, like if you disrespect, like if I mean, I feel like that's like a very like, but also it definitely could be just.
It literally
some sort
like
of
a hysteria,
like bacteria,
or just like a bacteria thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I do think it's hysteria because people, even during all of those times, even the 1600s, 1300s, like the stress of being starving and sick and hot, like hysteria.
Yeah.
It's like a recipe for disaster.
I actually watched a video, which like this shit kind of gets a little dicey really quickly. So let's know that like the thing that I'm talking about is not the flip side of being like, let me just say it like this. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not someone who, and I know y'all are clenching your buttholes with what I just said right now. I'm not someone who like doesn't believe in medicine or anything like that, or like is against the way that, the 2020 lockdown. I'm not against any of that, just before I start this. But I saw this video, and it was like a psychiatrist, and they were proposing that like, especially younger generations that went through 2020 kind of had the same shock of someone who was diagnosed with a really scary illness or disease at a young age that was in an episode and had flare-ups, and like you didn't, and it really resonated with me because like obviously when I had my kidney disease, it happened so fast. Like I went from being invincible at 14 to being like, oh my god, I'm on a transplant list, like what the fuck. Basically they said that same sensation happened to everyone in 2020.
That's crazy.
We went from being absolutely invincible to, oh my God, are we going to have food? Are we going to have toilet paper? When can we leave? Do we have money? Are we going to be able to afford to live and rent if work never goes back to the same? I'm going to have to kiss my wife, my husband, my sibling, my aunt, my uncle goodbye because I can't see them. And my other ones have to go to work. They're essential workers, or healthcare workers. They have to go. So everyone was in such an immediate fight or flight, even though it seemed like everyone was, we had TikTok as our breather moment, but like, long story short, are we still in the hysteria, or are we coming down from it?
Dude, I don't know.
And that's why
COVID has really fucked up this world.
Yeah. And especially in a world where we're all like, the intelligence
nothing
of
like that
has
ever
never
happened in the United States as large as COVID.
And in modern times, like
right.
where it, where we have modern medicine and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, but then you had all the like crazies jump onto this and like, exactly.
What I will say is that I think it left a lot of room for people to go in their own mass hysteria of like specifically politics.
Yes.
And it has like divided the country.
Yes.
Because people spent too
Not
much
trusting
time on the
medicine.
damn internet.
Yeah.
And that's all we had was
Getting the algorithm.
like no fault to them. That's all we had was the internet.
There's nothing you could do.
And so like I think that like really divided.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. Because like that started like the like extreme leftists and the extreme rightists.
Yes.
Like that's what
created
COVID.
the
like they've
big
always
divide.
been there, but not like how it is today.
In the forefront of everything. But yeah, that argument was really, really interesting, and like trying to figure out when we will come out of that fight or flight of always being worried. But they said it's going to take like years because even still now, like we hear one thing about like a possible outbreak of something, it's headlining news.
Yeah.
And everyone's like the malaria, the measles, the new disease apparently that's going around somewhere, when mad cow disease had a few things, like the flu, like even as simple as the flu, like anything like that, it triggers that same response that we had in 2020.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
and then they took everyone's rights away.
Yeah, I think it also led to like this big spiraling of censorship in our country where, I mean, not saying that
we haven't
like, I feel like
yeah.
it like I don't want to touch on it, but like our freedom of speech is just like dwindling away.
Our like ownership of our own bodies, who we are allowed to love, things that we worked for years and years and years and years
it's
and
just
years,
dwindling away.
just going away little by little.
Yep.
Really scary, but something just a little something to nibble on if you're feeling like starting a fight at a family dinner, I guess.
Honestly, I would rather like the next outbreak be a dancing plague.
I know.
Well, I don't want people to die.
Yeah,
every day.
there's 50
but like
people
with like
died.
water stations would be cool.
Yeah, and like IVs, and you tap out. You can't dance.
You can tap out.
You can't dance for more than 5 hours at a time.
Yeah.
So legally, there's a lot of ramifications.
Like, and they have like a shot. Like, if that was a sickness, like, okay, 5, and they like put a timer on you. When your Apple Watch starts going off, then it injects you with the cure.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, well, the cure's only good for like
so many hours.
15 hours.
God, we'd be so fit.
Oh my God.
And I'd be just absolutely motherfucking jacked
be
sitting
warming
here.
it around.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
You guys would have to buy me a whole new, brand new wardrobe.
I'd be learning all the tricks. I'd be doing headstands.
I'd be doing kip ups.
Yep.
Oh my God, me and Morgan would be doing every dance routine that we've ever done.
We'd be like, find us in the center. Here we go. Looks like our time's in. Everyone tap out. We got this.
Yeah, we got this. So don't worry about this one. Snap your fingers. Okay, my turn.
Oh shit, that's funny. What you got for us?
I have a really horrible case.
Oh, awesome.
So
You didn't want to take my advice on the 1600s case? 1800s?
I thought about it, but this one I actually already had some handwrittens on, so I was like,
All right.
I could go
I
that.
thought we were just going old school today. Thought maybe I had convinced you.
I'd gone there. I'd started looking at it, and then
Was there
like,
anything on it?
I mean, a little
I
bit.
saw a little TikTok on it. I was like, oh, that could be
There was
fun.
a little bit. I just didn't know enough to be able to get it done, get the script done quick. So, trigger warning, because this does involve the horrific death of a child.
Why do you do this to yourself?
Well, okay.
To us.
I'm so sorry. This is technically like a part 2 or a part 1 of what I covered on episode 93 ? I'll confirm at the end because I tell you of Patreon. So we just recently discussed this case a little bit in a case that's connected to it. So this is a case of Polly Klaas. It's Friday, October 1st, 1993, and we are in Petaluma, California, the like North Bay area of San Francisco. 12-year-old Polly Klaas is having a sleepover with her 2 best friends, Jillian and Kate, also 12, at Polly's house, where she lived with her mom, Eve, and her younger half-sister, Annie. Polly, Jillian, and Kate were all in the 7th grade and shared the same interest for acting, playing instruments, and performing. And they actually had another friend named Annette who was supposed to be at the sleepover but came down with a fever during school that day and was too sick to attend that evening. But this sleepover was dedicated to one thing and one thing only, okay? And that was Halloween.
So fun.
So fun. With Halloween being just around the corner, and really this being the last year before, you know, they had to start doing the like older kids version of Halloween. The 3 girls spent the entire evening trying on costumes in Polly's room, and the giggles that came from that room were simply just girlhood. And as I'm sure you can guess, girlhood can get a little bit loud.
Yeah.
Girlhood has, you know, reputation for being a little bit loud, even at our big age. So at around 9:45 p.m., Eve, Polly's mom, told the girls that she had a really bad migraine, so she was going to have to go to bed earlier than normal, asking them if they would please keep it down and try not to stay up too late before taking herself and Polly's little sister, her youngest daughter, Annie, to bed, who was actually like pretty much fast asleep within seconds. Knowing that 12-year-old girls would only be able to keep it down for a very, very small amount of time, Eve decided that she was going to take some of her prescription medication for sleep and migraines so that she could pass the fuck out before the girls got loud again. And this was like pretty much normal for nights that Eve suffered from her migraines because she got them pretty often. And this worked like a charm. Eve was out within a few minutes. Polly, Jillian, and Kate finished up trying on costumes and began playing video and board games to start kind of winding down. And by 10:30 p.m., their eyes were getting a little bit heavy too. So the 3 girls decided to start laying out their sleeping bags and building like a pallet fort type deal on the floor of Polly's room, because God knows getting into bed at a sleepover means that you're going to be up for at least 2.5 more hours giggling in the dark.
Yep.
Well,
Yes, it does.
as they're setting up, Polly realizes that she actually left her sleeping bag in another room in the house. She quickly like jumps up, not thinking anything about it, walks over to the door into her room, opens it up, and she is stopped in her tracks because standing there was a bearded middle-aged man.
Sorry.
A man that the girls had never seen.
Oh my God.
And he's holding a knife. As if this was a part of his plan all along, the man just steps in, demands that the girls lay down on their bellies on the floor side by side, and he just starts tying them up.
Fucking terrifying.
Using things that he brought and anything and everything he could find in the room, such as a strap from a purse, strips of cloth, even a cord from their Nintendo controller that they had just been playing with.
Man.
Before saying, quote, "If you scream, I'll slit your throat." The girls were petrified with fear, staying still and silent, looking at each other with panic and tears welling in their eyes. And once all three of them were bound, he asked whose house this was and who else was in the home. Polly said that it was her home and that her mother and baby sister were also there, which seemed to actually shock the man. Like, he had no idea there were any adults in the house. The girls were full-blown panicking at this moment, crying and whimpering when he told them that he was only there for money, promising them that if they would just stay silent and listen to him, no one would be hurt. Polly was able to build up the courage to tell the man where her mom like hid some cash inside the house and some other valuables, and the man shook his head but did not leave the room. He instead then gagged all of the girls. He took the pillows off Polly's bed, stripped them of their pillowcases, and put all the pillowcases over the girls' heads like hoods. The man then picked up Polly to show him where the money and valuables were inside the house, telling Jillian and Kate to count to 1,000, and by the time they were done, Polly would be back on the floor beside them and he would be gone. Well, the second that man and Polly left the room and they couldn't hear their footsteps outside anymore, Jillian and Kate immediately began working to free themselves, which took a total of 20 minutes to do. Immediately after which they jumped up and ran into Eve's room, waking her up and telling her what had happened. Eve, so groggy from taking her sleep medication, but now filled with adrenaline, shot out of bed and began running through the home screaming out for Polly. But there was no sign of her and no sign of the man. Eve wasted no time. She called 911, and on the 911 call, actually, like, you can tell from what I've read about it that her medicine is like trying to kick back in to put her back asleep. So she starts like slurring her words and she's trying to like get out what's going on, like fighting to be like, my daughter's missing, and they're like asking questions, and she gets the address out and they're like, what happened, who was in the house? And so she just has to hand over the phone to Kate and Jillian, and we're like, tell what happened, because like she's passing out again, trying to stay like awake. Then within minutes, the entire home is flooded with police. Just one look at the scene and a few minutes with Eve, Kate, and Jillian. Eve, by the way, who's actually getting fluids because they're trying to like help her get over this medicine. Local authorities knew that they could not investigate this case by themselves. They genuinely did not have the resources or experience because Petaluma was considered a very, very safe, quiet, and peaceful town, especially the neighborhood that Polly lived in, which is exactly why Eve, Polly's mom, didn't think twice about leaving several of the windows in the house open that night when they went to bed, because the breeze felt nice. It had been like a really, really warm day, and the like house needed to air out really bad, so she left them all open, which she did all the time. Especially like going into like, you know, when it's like fall, sometimes you're gonna have a really hot day and a super cool night, and it's helped so much to cool the house down. And then also like Polly and her friends had been going in and out of the house, out of the back door all day into the backyard or like to go play or whatever. So that back door was left unlocked. Like, they didn't even think twice of it. And that's because of just how safe this area was. All that to say, local police immediately had to call in the FBI for assistance, and agents were at the scene by midnight that night. You remember the 911 call came in like, I mean, the man walked into their room at 10:30 and they were out, let's say, you know, 20 minutes later, but let's give some time in between. Let's say that they called 911 at 10:50. That's
an hour turnaround huge,
time to get agents out there. Using the detailed descriptions of the man given to them by Jillian and Kate, they were able to create a composite sketch of the man, but it really wasn't that good. It was pretty generic. Meanwhile, FBI crime scene specialists combed through Polly's room and several like different spots of the house, collecting fingerprints, fibers, hairs, fabric that the man had touched while tying the girls up, and even a huge, perfectly preserved palm print. Well, all of the fingerprints came back as belonging to someone in Polly's like house, family, or friends, like life, her close friends. And out of all the foreign hairs that they found, only one of them was actually from the root, which is the only way that you can get DNA testing. But at the time, like, DNA testing wasn't really good enough to be able to only use one tiny little sample like that. It was going to be something, but also it didn't help them because there was no DNA databases. So how is it going to help them to get anything new? It's going to be for later on, if anything. Some fibers that they found actually turned out to be carpet fibers from the interior of a car. So that would again be helpful way later on, but still like nothing that's helping them right now. Also, they learned that the Nintendo cord, pillowcases, and purse strap, like I said, all came from Polly's room. However, those strips of cloth that he was using to tie the girls up, that happened to be this like silky fabric, was actually brought to the scene by the abductor.
So he knew how many girls were in there.
Right. And lastly, that palm print, that full perfectly preserved palm print. Well, it didn't match anyone in Polly's family or close circles, meaning this more than likely belonged to the abductor. But without any databases, again, they cannot do anything with it.
Wow.
That's all that it is. It's an unidentified, entire, perfectly preserved palm print. Well, as this is all going on at the scene around Polly's house, a team of over 50 local police officers and 75 federal agents are searching a large radius around the home using helicopters, search dogs by foot, and waking people up in the neighborhood in the early morning hours of now the 2nd of October, being like, hey, did you see or hear anything? And a lot of them actually had. At least one of the neighbors, but for sure multiple neighbors saw a man walking around from like 8 p.m. that night until like 10:30. And then they didn't see him again. But specifically, one neighbor actually saw that same man that everyone's describing, which 100% matches the description that Jillian and Kate gave, saw that man enter through the back door of Polly Klaas's home that night so casually and confident that they thought like, oh, he must know them.
Yeah, he was invited. He was welcomed.
Yes, they thought, oh, maybe it's, maybe Jillian or Kate's dad, brother, someone coming in there.
Oh, geez.
Maybe Eve had like a friend over. Maybe that's her brother. They had no idea. And mind you, it was only 10:30 when this neighbor witnessed someone come walk over on a Friday night. So they thought like, oh, maybe they're just hanging out.
The girls were allowed. It was Halloween time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't even that late. Now, by the time the sun rose that next morning, again, Saturday, October 2nd, family, friends, neighbors, and volunteers set up the Polly Klaas Search Center, where they set up 24-hour phone lines to take tips from the public. Everyone in Polly's life, including her father.
They did not skip a beat.
No, bitch. Everyone in Polly's life, including her own father, Mark, whom she did not live with full time, but like, I'm going to get to it. They had a really good relationship, was cleared with the investigation ramping up quickly. Now, speaking of Polly's father, Mark, he and Polly spoke on the phone every single night, but they for sure spent at least like one day together. They saw each other every week and they tried to talk on the phone every single night if they could. And that night they had actually spoken on the phone before her friends got there. Aww. And she was telling him how excited she is about having this sleepover and how she gets to hang out with her friends. And guys, she was 100% a daddy's girl. Aww. Both Mark and Eve, even though they were divorced, were great co-parents and actually like pretty good friends in all of this. They got along super well, and Mark saw Polly every single week. They spent so much time together, even if it was just like a few minutes. Like he could be like, hey Eve, can I just swing by and like come get her and take her to dinner? And she'd be like, yeah, sure. And or sometimes he would just come join them at dinner if they were out somewhere.
That's sad.
Anyways, going back to the morning of Polly's disappearance, the morning news was the first time that the regular community of Petaluma actually learned about her abduction, because this was 3 years before Amber Alerts were invented. But because of how safe this community was, everyone was shocked and willing to drop everything and help in whatever way that they could. In addition to the call centers, volunteers painted the town in flyers, helping to spread awareness and calling surrounding towns to ask for help and tell them about Polly. Mark, Polly's father, handled all media interviews, taking any and all of them that he could to get his daughter's story out there in hopes of bringing her home, which of course resulted in a lot of people saying a lot of fucking horrible, awful things, like accusing him of a lot of horrible, awful things, being like, you guys need to look into the dad, he's fucking sketchy, like da-da-da-da. Just let me say this right now, he has nothing to do with this. So even if you're questioning it, he has nothing to do with this. It like nearly drove him mad because he's having to deal with his daughter being abducted.
And that's always so easy for the public to do.
It really is. He actually like was on the verge of having a breakdown on live TV, but he refused to back down because he knew that he was innocent. Police knew that he was innocent. Everyone in their lives knew that he was innocent. And he was not going to stop advocating for his daughter because of some fucking trolls, essentially. And thankfully, it really paid off because Polly's case was featured on America's Most Wanted, bringing it to its first national audience, and it really struck the national audience. Like, Polly went from being, this little girl from Petaluma to being like America's daughter because their story was so relatable, and like the way that this night went, like having the windows cracked open, leaving your back, it was so Americana at that point in time that it grasped the nation in a way. And like having her parents on there, just like everything about this case really captured the hearts of everyone. So it really became like a sensation at the time, which was good in spreading awareness. But unfortunately, though, by mid-October, there was nothing new. It seemed as if the momentum began to wind down, even though we knew it wasn't. It was just like the tips were coming dry at this point. That was until a native of Petaluma put out a $200,000 reward for Polly's safe return, continued advocating for Polly on the biggest stage known to man, and even came to help in the search herself. And that was Winona Ryder.
Wow.
I know. Who at the time was at her peak fame and even was about to start the filming for Little Women, which she obviously starred in, and she actually dedicated the film to Polly.
Wow.
I have chills.
Me too. Wow.
Because Winona, just like many others, saw herself in Polly. They both shared their love for acting that started in Petaluma, the place that they were raised. They loved playing in the band at school and taking acting or theater classes in the town. And just like Winona as a child, Polly was described as sassy, charming, talented, outgoing, but very sensitive, with a natural connection and want for the spotlight. Winona showed up to help in a search with no makeup, no posse, no press, nothing, not even an announcement that she was coming. She was in regular clothes with her hair pulled back and sleeves rolled up, waiting for direction in the line, just like all of the other volunteers. It wasn't until like literally when she came up to the table to get her packet of what she was going to be assigned to do that they were like, "Are you Winona Ryder?" Mm-hmm. Even with all of this help and attention on Polly's case, it was still going cold quickly, though. Prank calls began coming in to Eve and Mark's homes and even to police with kids claiming to be Polly. Horrible. And investigators got really fucking desperate. And this is so nasty. This is so disgusting. They took it as far as repeatedly interviewing and almost convincing themselves that Jillian and Kate knew more than they were leading on. Her best friends.
Why would they hide
anything? Who were
anything?
also victims in this.
Yeah, wow.
AKA they were getting really fucking unethical with some 12-year-olds. They were no longer interviewing Jillian and Kate as they had told their parents they were, but instead of interviewing them as if they were victims of this horrible crime as well and needed to be protected, they were acting as if they were full-grown guilty ass adults for hours and hours on end, interrogation style, with detectives repeatedly pressuring them to, quote, give us the full story and tell us the real story, new information, end quote.
Sick.
Asking them the same questions over and over and over again to try and trick them into changing the story. Even going as far as having both of the girls take polygraphs, which was horrible due to the amount of stress and emotion that they were facing, resulting in Jillian passing, but Kate coming back as inconclusive. And they said throughout her entire polygraph, which was on film, she's like holding her stuffed bunny and crying and rocking back and forth and violently shaking, that even on the pixelated camera from the 90s, you can see.
Wow. Yeah, that's sick as fuck.
So fucking sick. The girls were being re-traumatized, having to relive this day over and over and over again in such a violent and cold manner while being told that they were lying.
Is this the FBI doing this?
This is the FBI and local police.
I would assume the FBI is taking over these interviews.
Which finally ended up with their parents refusing to let local police or the FBI interview them again. But that is until the iconic Jean Boylan steps in. She is best known for being the forensic artist who sketched the Unabomber and multiple other like high profile cases, and also has had experience with advocating for traumatized and vulnerable victims, but specifically women and children. Now, the reason that she was brought in, it was to get a way better sketch than the first one they had because it was so generic, and like I kind of talked about like how shitty it was in the beginning. However, that meant she needed to spend a lot of time with the now very vulnerable and very much terrified Jillian and Kate. Yes. So she tells both investigators and the girls' parents that more than anything, what these girls needed was for someone to just let them talk and do nothing but listen and support them. And the parents actually like trusted Jean a lot. So she was allowed to spend time with the girls. So for 9 entire hours, she sat with the girls in like a playroom, like comfortable setting, okay? She sat eye to eye with them. She held their hands. They sat like on the carpet together, then on the couch. She moved around and she just let them talk. She let them talk about it together. Like, oh, do you remember when this happened? And just being like, oh, really? Well, you know, like, what did he, you know, just asking like little questions, like, how did that make you feel? And she was, you know, they would expand on that. And they felt so supported and so happy that they actually had someone who was listening to them. And because obviously when you're a kid and this happened to you, like I'm sure as a parent of this child, it's hard for you to listen to this, and that means that the kids can't feel comfortable enough because you're crying, you're reacting, you're asking like detailed questions that like the kids just can't answer. So for Jean to come in here and be this like just nothing but a listener for the kids, it changed everything about the way they told their story. And after she did this like she would ask questions and for clarity when she needed it, but she just mainly nodded along, supported them when they needed it, held their hands, rubbed their backs, and like let them talk. And when they were done after this 9-hour interview of like hanging out together, even though it's technically an interview, it was technically just them like hanging out together, she had her sketch done. She was ready. Wow. And I say sketch really fucking lightly because she drew a portrait of the man. I'm gonna send it to you, but the girls when they saw it after said, oh yeah, that is 100% the man that we saw. And then the neighbors that saw him and the next door neighbor that saw him specifically were like, oh yeah, 100%, that was the guy we saw. So here it is, Morgan, for you. And guys, this will be on our Instagram for you to see.
Wow.
Yeah, a literal portrait of the man.
Wow.
This was sent out to the public, and within days, a call came in. It was November 28th, nearly 2 months since Polly's abduction, when a woman named Dana calls police saying that she was walking around her large property that morning when she saw a pair of red child-sized tights that were tied together, a sweatshirt, a silky piece of fabric or cloth that was cut into a strip and made to look like a hood, and some other stuff scattered around. Now, the dispatcher already perked up knowing, you know, that these are some key things that was evidence from Polly's house, specifically that cloth. But it was when Dana told the full story that everyone knew right then and there, oh, holy shit, we have to get out to this property. Maybe Polly's there. Because you see, Dana lived about 30 minutes outside of Petaluma. And on the night of October 1st, the night that Polly was abducted, this is right before midnight, her child's babysitter was leaving for the night, requiring her to drive down Dana's super long and dark driveway. Towards the end, the babysitter runs into a man wearing a sweatshirt on a really hot night who claimed that his car was stuck, wanting the babysitter to get out of her car and help him. She immediately had a really bad feeling about this guy. Vibes were just beyond off, and her gut was telling her to run. So that's exactly what she did, but only after she had cracked down her window just a bit to see what was up. And that's how she learned, like, hey, my car broke down. And the man shoved his fingers into the crack of her window and tried to push the window down. She peeled out of there, nearly took his fucking hand off getting the fuck out of there, down the driveway, onto the main road, into the nearest payphone, which was like not that far away, maybe like a 2-minute drive away, if that, which she used to call Dana and be like, yo, there's a dude at the end of your driveway, says that he's stuck. He was fucking creepy. He put his hand in my window. He was wearing a sweatshirt, like so fucking weird. Well, one thing about Dana that you need to know is that she gives zero motherfucks, and she wants all the smoke 24/7. So she threw her shoes on, her clothes on, her daughter's clothes on, her daughter's shoes on, threw her daughter into the car, and they barreled down to the bottom of the driveway. I'm sure there was a gun in tow.
Oh, absolutely.
I would not be doing that unless I had a gun in tow with me. And she wanted to see what was good, mainly because she's a single girl mom living up there by herself. It's really remote. It's really secluded on the outskirts of fucking bumfuck. And she's not risking getting held up and cornered by a sketchy man blocking her into her house. So just like the babysitter said, she gets down there, and sure as shit, there's a car that it's a Pinto, and it seems to be like stuck in the ditch. However, there was no sign of this sketchy man in the sweatshirt that the babysitter had told her about. So Dana either turned around, which was like really hard to do in her driveway, or drove down, like, you know, out of the thing and went to the same payphone and down there called 911 because she didn't want to be stuck up at the house with him, which I think
valid.
That makes more sense that she drove to the payphone. So she drives onto the payphone. She calls 911. Either way, she's like, hey, I want to report a creepy ass trespasser on my property. He like stuck his hand in my babysitter's fucking car. Like, I need someone down here right now. Now, by the time Dana arrives back at the house, or I guess she waits at the payphone until these two deputies from Sonoma County Sheriff's Office pull up. But either way, by the time her and these two deputies get back to her driveway where this guy's stuck, the man is back, but he's no longer wearing the sweatshirt that the babysitter saw him in. He's instead shirtless, frustrated, agitated, with leaves and sticks in his hair, as if he had been walking through the woods, and he was so sweaty, like dripping in sweat. Police are like, what the fuck? What happened to you? Why are you covered in sticks and shit and sweat? Like, what happened to you? He's like, oh, I crawled underneath my car to see if I could like dig it out of the hole that it's stuck in, but I couldn't, and it was so hot. So they're like, well, then what are you fucking doing here? And he said, oh, well, I was just out sightseeing
in the dark
at midnight, and I didn't realize this was private property, and then I got stuck trying to turn around to get out of there. And so officers are like, that doesn't sound fucking good. All right. So they're like, we're going to search your car and we're going to run your plates, and we need your driver's license. So he hands over his driver's license. They run his plates. And back then, when you ran their plates, it only showed you driving records. It was completely clean. And they searched his car, and they found some empty beer cans and a small duffel bag that had some torn cloth in it, but they had no idea what that meant.
The same night. This is 2 hours.
This is 2 hours later. This is right when the FBI got there.
Wow.
Deputies then performed a roadside sobriety test because he smelled like alcohol and he had open containers in his car. He passed with flying colors.
And this is an entire different county, right?
Yeah, this is 30 minutes away. It's the same county though.
Oh,
same county, but it was city property that Polly, so city had jurisdiction over that. Okay, roadside sobriety test, he passed. Then they asked Dana if she wanted to press charges, and she was like, does that mean we're gonna have to be here for 4 more hours? And they were like, yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have to go down to the station. And she was like, my daughter's asleep in the back. No, just get him the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna press charges. He was just turning around, whatever, like nothing. If you don't think anything's wrong, then whatever. So they told her like, okay, you can go on back with your daughter. We're gonna tow him out, and then we're gonna escort him like 30 minutes down so he won't come back. She was like, okay, like good deal. So deputies did just that. They pull his old Pinto out of the ditch. They escort him like 30 minutes down the road in whatever direction he was going. And that was that. Well, fast forward to November 28th when Dana is calling the police. After hearing this, they had investigators on her property within the hour.
She found what again?
So she had found a child's red tights that were tied together, a sweatshirt, the same sweatshirt that the babysitter saw the man wearing, silky stripped cloth, and also one that had been turned into a hood. But there's like also like other debris scattered about. That's just what she saw, and she didn't fucking touch it. She said, holy shit, that was a sweatshirt, and there's that little girl that had been missing. I'm calling police.
Wow.
So investigators
I'm glad she put 2 and 2 together.
Me too. Investigators had people out on her property within the hour, and looking at the scene, investigators' stomachs sank as their worst fears were coming true with this. In addition to the red tights, sweatshirt, yes, the same one that the babysitter saw the man wearing, and the torn silky cloth or fabric hood, they also found a torn condom wrapper, an unrolled condom, pieces of packing tape, a book of matches, and a beer bottle. They knew that this had to be their guy. By the way, that those red tights, they were Polly's. They had been playing dress up all night. Immediately, they pulled the report from that night from the deputies that had responded to Dana's call, and they found the license plate and driver's license that the officers had ran, and it belonged to 39-year-old Richard Allen Davis. Investigators then ran his name in the criminal record database, and they found his fucking lengthy, terrifying rap sheet. In fact, he had literally just been paroled months earlier to Polly's abduction after serving time for abducting a woman in 1984, and this wasn't his first time abducting a woman, seeing as he had the exact same charges for abducting another woman in 1976. But he had been in and out of prison his entire life between charges of kidnapping, assault, attempted rape, and then a ton of different petty crimes and several more. And his mother literally lived in Petaluma. So very quickly, this guy went from being a person of interest to a fucking number one suspect in the case. In fact, their guy. That was it. But especially after they saw the mugshot photo that popped up when they ran his criminal record, because it was literally the exact same man that Jean Boylan had sketched. No, I don't have the exact same mugshot, but I do have the picture from her book cover that she wrote, so you can also see her. But this picture, the sketch and the picture of the guy, is in the bottom left-hand corner, along with like 3 others of her like top ones that I'm sending to Morgan right now. The bottom left-hand corner. That's the sketch, and that's him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And also, isn't Jean absolutely like
Stunning.
fucking stunning?
A literal
bombshell.
babe. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
That literally looks like a sketch.
Yeah. It literally looks
Longer
like
hair.
It literally looks like she just and mind you, the longer hair is because it grew out. Look at even the waves in the way that she did it. That was a year later. So his hair grew out for a year in prison. So what he looked like at the time that they arrested him probably looked literally just a little bit longer.
Wow.
Here's what sucks though. Even with all this information and all this proof that investigators had, they did not have enough to get an arrest warrant for this guy. They couldn't arrest him. This is all pretty much hearsay until they had some like solid shit, meaning they needed to get his palm print. However, they were like, how are we going to do this? Well, they quickly learned that bro's got an outstanding warrant for a DUI. Cha-ching.
Easy.
Don't give a fuck what it's for. We just want him in prison. We need him in jail right now. So the FBI receives a tip about his whereabouts within hours, and he is arrested on November 30th for his DUI warrant. That same day, they confront him about the abduction of Polly. He denies. Meanwhile, they have a lineup getting put together for Jillian and Kate, and without hesitation, the 2 girls separately point out Richard as Polly's abductor. 2 days later, police confirmed that Richard's palm print was a perfect match to the perfect one they found in Polly's home. And by December 4th, they get a call from Richard that he's ready to talk. He wants to tell them the full story. He tells investigators that he had been living at a halfway house at the time, but was granted an overnight pass to go visit his mother in Petaluma. Richard traveled there hoping to borrow some money from her, so not to visit as he claimed, but couldn't find her house as he walked the streets drinking. When he claimed someone had offered him a joint, which he smoked, only to realize it was laced with PCP. Allegedly, telling officers that from there on it was all a blur and he only has faint flashes of memory, such as crawling into a random house through an open window and grabbing a knife from the kitchen counter, which we know he walked in through the back door because we have a witness that saw it. Next thing he claims to remember is tying up 3 little girls and asking about money. Then the next flash is him in the car realizing that there's a little girl in his passenger seat. He said that he didn't even know what happened or what to do when he saw her there, so he kept driving to try and put the pieces together and figure out what he needed to do next when he passed by Dana's driveway and pulled over, having no idea that it was private property so he could think. He then realized that he was stuck and he couldn't free himself and he was going to need help. So in his panic, he carried Polly into the woods and planned to leave her there until he could figure out what to do. But when he came back to the car, police were there and questioned him for 45 minutes before escorting him. Mind you, no talk about the babysitter.
Right.
In there. He said that they questioned him for 45 minutes before escorting him away. After 30 minutes, he said he knew he needed to go back and get Polly and the coast was clear, so he drove back to Dana's property, parked way down the road, and hiked back to where he had left Polly sitting in the woods alive at that time, allegedly waiting for him. However, he said that he realized as he made his way to her that if he did return her like he had planned to in his sane mind, now that he wasn't high off PCP anymore, that she would definitely tell and he would be arrested. So he decided on the walk there that he needed to kill her. He said that the murder was not planned at all. Nothing about this was planned, Morgan, yet he happened to have strips of fucking fabric in his car. That's crazy. And that day, December 4th, 1993, Richard Allen Davis took police to a field that was 30 minutes outside of Petaluma, where he pointed out the location of a shallow grave where the body of 12-year-old Polly was buried. She was strangled with cloth, the cloth that he had brought, and hidden under wood boards, like in the Lovely Bones in the middle of a field.
Oh my God.
She was wearing a nightgown that actually Jillian had brought for her to borrow. Jillian had like a bunch of really nice nightgowns and brought them for the little girls to wear. So they had been like trying them on, dressing up, you know, and playing around. And she had on a blouse and a skirt underneath it still. And the blouse had been untied. Jillian's nightgown that she had on top was shoved under her arms. And her skirt was also pulled up to her chest with the position of her hips and legs, suggesting that she had been positioned like that to be sexually assaulted. Richard adamantly denied sexually assaulting her. And because there was no other way to prove that he had, due to the decomposition levels and lack of DNA technology that we have today, it could not be determined in the autopsy either, but it is known that he did. Even though we can't prove it, why would we have a condom there, you know? Though Richard seemingly told them the truth, because like for the most part the story lined up, it's like clearly that there's obviously lies within the truth of what happened. Police are like, there's no fucking way on this planet that this was not a planned crime. And let me tell you the main reasons why. Number one, the torn fabric that was there was still in the duffel bag. Like there was a lot more of it. And also like that was the same torn fabric that they found at the house with the girls, in his car, and on Dana's property in the woods at that pile of shit that she found, including the condom and the sweatshirt and the red tights. Number two, neighbors saw him lurking around Polly's house hours before the kidnapping, like starting at 8. Number three, allegedly a sex toy dealer or a sex shop clerk in a nearby town came forward and testified in court that she sold Richard that exact brand of condoms just hours before Polly's abduction. Number four, there was no way for anyone to prove if he was or was not impaired on the night of the crime, and still there was so much evidence pointing to the fact that he planned this, that this was not because of a high or of an impulse in the moment. Like he,
right. I mean, he's done it twice.
Exactly. After a very long and horrible, awful trial, which let me just give you a little blurb. I genuinely, I couldn't even go through it with you guys. Like if you want to know all the details, Christine did a really good job at going through it when she covered it. Also, I think Crime Junkie went through the trial. I fucking couldn't. It made me, I saw my eyes out sitting here trying to figure it out, but trying to type it out. The girls were had to go testify. Jillian and Kate had to go testify in front of him in court. Again, like no protection for these children who are also victims, survivors of this man. And he was horrible in court the entire time, mind you. Well, they were like, hey, do you want to take someone up to hold your hand on the stand and like be with you? And guess who they both chose?
The sketch artist?
Jean. And she did. She went up there with them.
Wow.
Oh, God. So after a very long and fucking horribly awful trial, Richard Allen Davis was convicted of first-degree murder with 4 special circumstances: attempted lewd act on a child, kidnapping, burglary, and robbery for the abduction and murder of 12-year-old Polly Klaas on June 18th, 1996. And at his formal sentencing, he asked to give a statement, which legally he's allowed to do. And in it, he taunted Polly's family, Jillian and Kate's family, flipped them off, flipped the court off, flipped the courtroom cameras off with both of his fingers, and then said, do you want to know what Polly's last words were? Looking directly at her father, and said, quote, just don't do me like my dad. Implying that her father molested and raped her, which, by the way, he didn't. At which point, Mark, her father, found him. He said, I blacked out. Before I knew it, I was literally flying in the air, and 2 bailiffs were pulling him down out of the air. He was going to attack him. He had jumped up out of his seat in his like blackout rage and was flying towards Richard. I wish they would have let him fuck that motherfucker up. Kill him. Truly. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck. I've got no sympathy for this nasty ass motherfucker. Zero.
Yeah. Zero
sympathy. They escorted Mark out of the courtroom, and then Richard was sentenced to death. But since 1996, he has remained on death row and will more than likely just die in prison due to the death sentences.
I mean, I'm glad we didn't release him again.
Paused in California. No, literally.
And I mean, I know that that's like how the law was back then.
And like, don't get me wrong. Like I'm someone who's always torn on the death penalty. This case, unfortunately, I'm not torn on it at fucking all. Send him to Texas or somewhere the fuck else.
Yeah, I agree. And also like for him to react like that while in court, but like he would have went to court for the other 2 plus the kidnapping charge, right? So like he probably would have acted the same.
No, he had gone to court for those and had already been serving his time.
Right, but he was probably a psychopath also during those hearings.
I have no idea what he was like in those. Yeah. Had no remorse.
Oh, that's so sick and so sad, and she's so cute.
I know. Okay, so Polly's body was cremated, and her family and friends gathered and spread her ashes over the Pacific Ocean so that she could travel the world. Her father, Mark, became a child advocate, establishing the Polly Klaas Foundation, and constantly served as an advocate and support system for parents of missing and murdered children. He and her mother also advocated in California with the politicians and several other states to pass the 3 strikes this law and got California's Three Strikes Act signed into law in March of 1994, which requires a person who's committed an offense or who has one or two other previous serious convictions to serve a mandatory life sentence in prison. It's a bit controversial because of some stupid shit. Like, examples like someone could have been arrested back in the day for having marijuana, for smoking marijuana, been arrested twice, and then they get in the 3 strikes rule. But like, obviously the intention of it is to have people like Richard have a fucking, you know, he shouldn't have been out on the street. He shouldn't have been released. He shouldn't have been paroled. And that's like what it's for. But because of, you know,
It's a step.
just it's a step towards it. But like, because of the way that the system's already fucked, it gets controversial real quick. But in terms of what the purpose of it is and the intention behind it, I see it 100%. I support it. I wish there was like a little bit more.
Well, I mean, the other thing that changed though is like when you pull up someone's plates, it's more than just your driving record now.
I mean, so many things about Polly's case that really like changed everything. In November of 2002, the Petaluma Performing Arts Center was reopened and renamed the Polly Klaas Community Theater. But most notably, Mark played an incredibly important role in supporting the parents of Amber Hagerman of Texas and working alongside them and politicians to get us the Amber Alert system, which I just covered at the beginning of this month on Patreon episode 93. And I mentioned Mark in there and like how he really teamed up with Amber's parents to get it signed into law. And I think he was like at the White House when Clinton signed it in.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of like really powerful stuff came from these two little girl stories.
And it's always those cases that are just the worst.
The fucking worst. And like, I could have put in a lot more, but honestly, guys, I was sobbing writing these notes, and I've really
been too.
I've been having to get my shit together, like covering this because it's so fucking upsetting.
Horrific.
The way he acted in court, dude.
I looked up a picture. I mean, he looks like a maniac, an absolute
maniac. I just can't. This motherfucker, I hate him so much.
Someone gave you a fucking joint. Be so for real.
No one gave you a fucking joint.
Laced with PCP.
No one gave you a joint.
Okay.
I can guarantee, and him now, terrifying. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's something out of a fucking horror film.
Horror movie. Fucking twat bitch.
Disgusting.
Fucking hate him, dude.
How old is he?
No, he's still alive, 71 years old.
See, like, people like that, like, they shouldn't even be able to see daylight again.
No, and
like, lock him in a fucking cell.
And also,
no TV, no fucking tablet bullshit, no iPad, no nothing.
Not even buck bitch.
You get fucking terrible baked beans, mold on the bread.
Disgusting.
No mustard, no mayo,
no ketchup.
Turkey, cheese. The cheese, hard.
Oh, it like breaks apart when you chew it.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's what they deserve. People like that.
And also, I saw on a Spotify comment from like a long time ago, like someone that's clearly like listening back, that they were like, why don't you tell us the story of these killers? I would sooner, over my dead fucking body, will you ever hear me talk about Richard Allen fuckface? So
no, really. Yeah, where I'm not, I would shut you down actually.
No, yeah. And
I'd be like, I don't want to hear about him.
He has a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to just him.
I'm sure he loves it.
Yeah.
Well, that was it.
I can't wait till he dies.
Case.
Anyways,
it's very sad.
Very sad. Fuck him.
It hits you even harder when it's a night
hell.
like filled with such pure innocent intentions.
Yeah.
Like
they're just they're just dressing up, trying on, and she's going to grab her sleeping bag. Like she just opens the door and he's standing there with a knife.
Like a psycho.
And like what else would have happened that night? Like what would have happened? Was he planning on barging in there? Like what was going to happen?
Yeah. And why didn't he think her mom was home?
I don't know.
Because you've clearly been casing the house.
He had been maybe he didn't see her because she had been asleep.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's probably sat out there watching for hours and hours.
Yes.
And only ever saw the lights on in the girls' room. Especially if baby sister
right. Baby
was
sister,
just sleeping.
Yeah. Really fucking upset.
Yeah,
dude.
that's sick. Well,
okay, well, that's that. And we will talk to you guys on Tuesday for a TBB. We don't know what it is just yet, but we'll figure it out.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.